Simply Tammy.
It's a blessing that I'm here, I'm alive. No, I never ever have to cry, cause it's something I know will always work for me on my side. Not a thing I even have to fight, All things work together for my good. Life speaks if you listen, it might be sound. Watch the love come alive. Sharing the truth that inspires. Sharing the truth that inspires. Sharing the truth that inspires. All things work together for my good. Life speaks if you listen, it might be sound. Watch the joy come alive. Watch the joy. Sharing the truth that inspires.
Inspired to love, inspired to grow, inspired to heal, inspired to live. Simply Tammy.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome again back to another segment of Women Who Win. I am Tammy Carpenter, known as Simply Tammy, and I am so grateful that you continue to join me, or if you're joining me for the first time, thank you for watching. I do ask if you are watching, those that are regulars, you know what to do. Jump in the comments and say hi. Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. With the platform that we're in, we don't know that you're on until you comment. We can see numbers, but we don't know who those numbers are associated with. So would absolutely love to be able to say hi to you. We make this conversation interactive, and I'm sure that our speaker or our guest tonight would be encouraged to know that you are on supporting her. So go ahead and jump in the comments and say hello. This platform, as you heard in the introduction, is to motivate, encourage. We're sharing truth that inspires. So I invite some amazing, phenomenal women to join me who don't mind being transparent, sharing their stories and their challenges and their triumphs to motivate you, to encourage you, to inspire you, and also make a connection. There's a common thread in all of us, but we don't know that unless we get to the place where we're comfortable sharing our story. So that's what I love most about this platform, is that the ladies that come are willing to be transparent. They're willing to share, and they're willing to tell you what their truth is to encourage you and to inspire you to keep going. So hello, Overcome the Battle Overcomers is watching us on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Brandy, thank you for joining on Facebook. The rest of you guys, go ahead and jump in the comments. I am going to get ready to read my speaker's bio so that I can bring. I keep calling her a speaker. You must. We must gonna flip this platform into something else, into something else tonight. My guest. I'm gonna go ahead and read her bio so that I can bring her on. And before I do that, if you are watching us on either Facebook or YouTube, I do ask that you either like my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay connected and stay informed of what we have coming up. We've been doing these since May of last year, and we do, of course, stop and take a break. But we love being able to connect with the people that are viewing this. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and introduce you to my guest tonight. Someone jumped in the comments and said she is a speaker too. We might be turning this into something else since I keep saying speaker. Look, if she wants to get up here and share what thus saith, I will let her have it. But my guest tonight is none other than the beautiful Varnessa Bales, and her bio reads: Varnessa Bales, a native of Buffalo, New York, is a wife, bonus mom to her 8-year-old nephew, corporate buyer, and business owner. She finds her strength in shifting the narrative of your entrepreneur or professional career by implementing strategic steps in defining your next level. With a 20-year career in the fashion industry and several years as a business owner of multiple products and services, Varnessa educates her clientele in the area of wardrobe styling, launching and building an online business, and integrating corporate structures and strategies within their business for scalability and growth. Vanessa finds her greatest joy in laughing and being in the presence of her family. A servant's heart, Vanessa is fulfilled at being the hands and feet of Jesus to those in need. Her slogan, "Do all things with love and style," is what she truly lives by, creating a life of love and being stylish along the way. So, without any delay, hello, hello, hello.
Hey, hey,
How are
hey.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am good. We have some more comments coming in. Hello, Charlene. I'm just gonna bring up some of the hellos that are watching with us, so you'll be able to see
Hey,
those
guys.
that are chiming in and saying hello. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for jumping in the comments. So, um, as usual, I like to give a little backstory on how I may have met my guest. And why I may have invited them to this platform. And I don't remember how many years ago it was, but I met Vanessa, I think through a mutual friend. It was either, I think it was Tammy that
Yes.
I think it was an event at her home that I initially met you at. And after hearing or learning a little bit more about your story, I invited you to do a session with the young ladies through In Life, and we were tremendously encouraged and blessed by your presence there. So just watching your journey from afar, um, encourages me. So I know that you being on this platform tonight is going to be a blessing to those that get to hear and learn a little bit more about you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's definitely
So
an honor.
yes, we are excited to have you. You guys. As you probably saw in that gorgeous picture of her that was part of the promo. If you are connected with her on social media, she is the stylist to many. So she's always posting gorgeous pictures of herself and her clothing. And she also has a online clothing store. So I want to go back to, how did you get started? When did you know that fashion and styling was your thing?
I didn't know, but my mama knew at 3. She said I was by far the most prettiest child she've ever met in her life. And she said clearly she must be of her father because this is not me. I've loved fashion forever, to be honest, and I was just always just intrigued. Like, art is just something that I'm in love with. And so in the space of fashion and clothes, I've just always fell in love with it. About 16 years old, I went to apply for a retail job, and they literally hired me on the spot because they love my outfit. And so from there, I really just kind of like engaged myself in retail and fashion, just learning the fabrics, learning styles, what works for people, and things like that. And I moved up the ladder actually pretty quickly in my retail career, just because it was something that really came natural to me because I just had a love for it. I so my mama says 3, but from what I remember, it was like 16 that I really got into it.
Okay. So I think it's interesting that, so, because I often talk to people that are doing whatever they're doing now and love it and are good at it, but it was not their first love. It was not their first endeavor. Fashion has always been what you've aspired to do.
It's been my baby.
So then, how did you, after, getting that first job into retail, how did you find your way into, I guess, what were your next steps in working with it? How did you continue to matriculate in the industry?
So it was around like college time, and we were, I was applying to colleges and things like that. Well, I wanted to, I'm from Buffalo, New York, but I wanted to be in New York City. I wanted to be in Manhattan because I was a buyer for this company. So I learned just Manhattan and I fell in love with it. So I wanted to go to school in Manhattan. I was just like, no, I'm living in New York City, you know, Or it was crazy. I was either going to New York City or I was going to Howard, like two totally way left field places. But my mom, being a single mother, she really couldn't afford for me to kind of like venture out. And so there's a lot of different programs within the state of New York, especially like in my hometown, different aids and, programs for, like financially challenged families and things like that. So my grandparents really just encouraged me to not let that burden be on my mother for me to leave. Although my mom she's always been the type of person that says, live your dreams, go out and do what makes you happy. But my grandparents, especially growing up in the 30s and 40s, they're like, no, get an education, get a good job, like live your dreams when you retire. But that just wasn't really something I wanted to do, and so I still listened to them, and I applied for this program in Buffalo, and I was so mad about it. Like, why am I even listening to y'all? Like, I was so mad. And I remember I got accepted into the program. And so my mother and we got assigned this advisor. And she asked me, what did I love and what did I love to do? I was like, I just love fashion, but I don't think this school could serve that for me. And she was like, no, we can. And she said, we have a dual program where you will go to school here for 3 years and you'll learn marketing. And then in your final year, we will send you to FIT in New York City for fashion. I fell out my chair because I'm like, I want to go to Fashion Institute of Technology. Like,
Right.
seriously? So I dived right into it and I put my all into the 3-year marketing program, but I was still working as a retail buyer and an assistant manager. So I was doing a lot of that work. Well, it got around to my junior year in college, and they were like, okay, you have to have an internship in order to move forward and all of this XYZ stuff in marketing. So I applied for Fisher Price. I got hired, but the hours and the demand at Fisher Price, I had to make a choice. Take this internship, but I have to give up my job. And I remember we just got finished putting on this big fashion show in Buffalo, New York. We were always big with fashion shows and things like that. And so we were all sitting around the corporate table with the owner, just kind of chit chatting, about the event. Well, people started to leave. And so I sat there, and he's always mentored me, just in the fashion industry and just business. And I told him, hey, I'm going to have to step down from my position because I have to take this marketing internship before I can move forward to go to FIT. And I was just like, I'm really excited about FIT. It's going to be huge for me. And he looked at me. He was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm just talking about it. And so he pauses and he said, do you really think you're going to make it in the fashion industry? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And he goes, I don't see it. And he was like, FIT? He said, do you know that's like the top college that people fly all over the world to come to? He was just like, there are people from China, like everywhere, and they come to FIT. He said, there are people that are going to be there far more talented than you, just that can create way better than you. He was just like, I just don't. He said, I think this is about as far as you'll ever go in the fashion industry. And that crushed my soul. Like, it was the worst thing I could possibly hear in that moment. And I left so heartbroken. I just remember going back to my dorm, and I was like packing up my stuff, like, I'm done. This is crazy. And I remember I went and I sat in my dean's office and I said, I want to withdraw from FIT. And then my advisor called. She goes, you're crazy, right? She said, because you told me freshman year you wasn't coming to the school because we didn't have this program. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And she's like, why? But I never told her why. I didn't tell my mom why until I was like, I don't know, probably in my 30s. Right. And so it was crazy. So I literally listened to him. I withdrew from FIT. I ended up, because now I had this additional amount of credits I needed to complete. I took like a sales course just to, get my degree. And I was like, this thing sucks. Like, why am I here? But I let somebody tell me a lie that I believe to be true.
Wow.
And after I graduated college, I moved to Michigan. I did business to business sales. So when I did business to business sales in Michigan, I sucked. I was so bad at it, but I showed up every day and I was cute. And I remember when I had a really severe health challenge that struck me out of nowhere when I moved to Michigan. I developed these massive, like golf ball size ovarian cysts that would just rupture at any moment.
Oh,
And it
wow.
literally, at one point, it literally almost paralyzed me. It was one was so bad. And I just remember I had to really take control of my health. So I had to leave the job. And I remember talking to my manager about it. And he was just like, okay. He said, no offense. He's like, you didn't really do so good in sales. He said, but the one thing I could tell you, he said, is that you showed up every day. He said, we always talked about your outfit every time you came in. And so, I took care of my health in that moment. But of course, I'm like, I need to work. I live in Michigan on my own. I need to work. And I remember I went to Express to go pay a bill, and I walked in, and the manager was just like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And he was like, "Do you want a job?" And I was like, "Well, I kind of need one, at this point." And he was like, "Okay, here." And he gave me the application. So I'm filling it out and I handed it back. And I said, "Well, why, like, why are you even offering me a job?" He was just like, "I just love your outfit." I was
Mm.
like, "Okay." So I applied, I got the job. They and Express, the position or the place that I worked at in Michigan, it was probably one of the most highest performing value of all of Express. And so they literally are very strategic at, you have to start at an associate level and work your way to the top. Well, my experience just in the retail industry and just my love for fashion, it literally it took me to from a sales manager to, like, in a couple months I became a visual merchandiser for Express, all the way to
Mhm,
like a fashion expert, because it was just, I poured myself out in fashion, and
mhm.
I've always loved it. It was just something that I wanted to do. I did so many other crazy jobs, working at a bank. I sucked at that because I just could not do those people screaming at me on the phone. I was just like, this is not my ministry in life. And so
Right.
I went through so many different jobs, but gained experience that,
Mhm.
to be honest, like, I don't regret. And I remember I ended up moving to Charleston, South Carolina. First of
Okay.
all, that was major culture shock. I moved to Charleston like, what just happened? um, it was different. It
Yes.
was very different for me.
Yeah. Coming
I
from New
have
York, I can imagine.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I have friends that would pick on me. They would talk with the Geechee or Gullah
Mhm.
Gullah language and force me to, like, interpret what they said. It was crazy, but I learned a lot there. Well, a friend of mine invited me to an event. Like, she does like insurance and stuff, life insurance. And I didn't want to go, but I was like, okay, I'll go. I don't have anything else to do. And this guy gets up on stage, and before he, goes into his speech, he said, "He who has your ear has your future."
Mhm.
And I cried and cried and cried. And she's looking like, you're embarrassing me. But that is what really that broke me, because I realized in that moment.
Mhm.
So I graduated college in 2006. So it was 2005 that I withdrew from the program. And fast forward to like 2009, I think it was, that I ended up in Charleston, that I heard that, so it was a
Mhm.
4-year journey of trying to find myself again.
Mhm.
And I just remember it was just like I needed to hear that for
Mhm.
me to, like, tap back into, like, who I am and what I love and what
Yeah.
I'm passionate about. And so, I mean, I worked jobs, well, not jobs, but I worked for the government in Charleston and things like that. And it was good because, again, I learned experience along the way. And then my husband and I, we got married in 2011. Fast forward, we moved to Greenville, and it was like 2014.
I want to
Yes.
go back before we get to, because I want to go back with first of what you said with the words that he spoke over you that crushed you. And you carry that was in New York. You left and went to Michigan. So from state to state to state, job to job, you carried those words with you.
Mhm.
Um, and you were trying to make a life that you knew that wasn't who you were called to be. Like you said, you stuck at the business sales. You hated the banking. Um, at what point did you start to replace those words with whatever got you back on track to believe in Vanessa again?
It was my husband. My husband
Wow.
is a kick you off the cliff faith person. I'm the type of he's the type where he's going to jump off the bridge. I'm trying to calculate what's my landing, what's the altitude. Like that's me. But it was my husband really, to be honest, where he would always tell me like, babe, like this is in you. Like you have to go after your dreams. And I would think back to the guy, okay, he who has your ear, has your future. And I was, but I was dealing with that. But the enemy was still like, nah, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it, And I just remember one day, my husband, I got dressed for church. I was just feeling myself this day. And my husband was just like, I'm going to take some pictures of you. So he took these pictures and I just felt so good, And I remember taking the pictures and he was just like, post it. So I posted it. And I started getting like this wave of like, where'd you get your outfit from? This, And my husband was just like, great. So now your business is about to start. And I'm like, how? Like what? He was just like, you know it. You know it. Just do
Mhm.
it. And it was in that moment, I just did it. I'm like, hey, I'm a wardrobe stylist. This is what I do. Check me out on Sundays. I'm going to give you my outfit of the day post. And I just started doing it. I was just showing up. I didn't care what it looked like. I was just showing up because I knew that I was passionate about fashion. I knew that I love to make women feel beautiful. I told somebody the other day, she told me, she said, I feel like, she said, you're my stylist, but you're like my therapist too. And I said, it's okay, you know, because I love it. I love to just make women feel beautiful and just to build that confidence. And so it was just really in that moment that I started doing it. And when I failed, I figured out what didn't work and I tried something else. And if that didn't work, I just kept trying until I found my rhythm. And I found like what made me. I even cut off all my hair at one point. And I was just like, I'm just going all the way out. And so, but it was just me just finding my rhythm, like finding like who I am and just getting back to that girl who loved fashion. Like unapologetically. And it's so funny because the very person who told me that I'd never make it in the fashion industry, one filed bankruptcy for his company because it just didn't stand anymore. Then went to do a t-shirt business, which he still called me for and asked me if I could be on his design team. No, boo, we're not doing that. And then on top of that, it's just funny to see him comment and just make reference to my social media. And one day he messaged and was just like, wow, like you're still in that fashion thing. No, it's not a thing. This is my assignment. This is what I'm called to do. Although you tried to pluck it out of me, like
Mhm.
it's back. And so here I am. So
Wow.
yes, it was a journey for sure.
So I'm gonna acknowledge a few more ladies that have
Okay.
jumped on and said hello. Hey Nicole, hey Marthaline,
Hey.
Kimberly. They are loving your testimony. And what I want to, because typically when we jump into business, jump into doing things like you do for other women, we seek out a mentor, someone to help guide us, someone to show us the way. But the person who initially crushed your dream was someone that was mentoring you.
Mm-hmm.
How easy was it for you, or have you sought out other mentors, and did you have to fight any barriers from what happened with the previous mentor to trust another one?
Um, yeah. So I do. I have mentors in different capacities, or different areas, and It was definitely it was like I had a wall up because I was just kind of like, looking at people like, I don't know if I'm gonna trust you, because my mom, she would always tell me, somebody can see your anointing even before you see it. So maybe he tried to crush your dream because he saw just how far you can go, So my mom was always just like, trust yourself. She would always tell me that. Just continue to trust yourself no matter what anybody says. My grandfather even used to say, like, honey, I love you, but I just don't know where this fashion thing is gonna go, And now it's so funny because with my boutique, when I was just like, hey, I'm ready to launch my boutique, he goes, how much you want me to invest? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I need this money. Um, but yeah, it took me a long time to really trust somebody because it was like, this is my baby, and this is and it's just like, I want to protect my baby at all costs. So who's qualified to mentor this anointing, because it's so much greater than fashion, like I've been learning so much in these past just few months about so many different things, about my assignment, about who I am and what I'm called to do. So I'm very particular about who I allow to have access to this. And so I do have a mentor in the fashion industry. I'm sure some people have heard of him. His name is Jay Bolin. He's super huge on Instagram and things like that, but an amazing, amazing mentor, humble as ever, loves the Father. I mean, he's a great soul, and it's just like when he comes to Greenville, to style different people, hey, he's always reaching out to me and I show up, and it's just, even if it's like hours and I'm like dead tired, he's pouring so much into me still. And it's amazing. I have mentors just in the area of just business, and they pour into me, and they're constantly, keeping me filled and things like that. And I have mentors like in the faith, because it's just like, when I feel like my well is dry, I need somebody to fill me back up. And to be honest, I even have people that mentor me through marriage, because I don't have it all put together. And my husband likes to say, like, oh, I'm gonna write a whole book about you, and so I have mentors in so many different areas, but it took a while for me to really trust someone enough with my heart. But I had to heal, to be honest. And so I had to heal from past hurts and rejection issues from my father and just so many different areas. So I was coming into this a little bit broken, no more than a little bit. I was broken. And so it took a
Yeah,
lot to really, get myself to that place of trust. But now, like, I will call up my mentors in a heartbeat and just talk
right.
their ears off. But it feels good because they will fill me up and they'll give me wisdom.
Good. That is amazing. Yeah, I know oftentimes when a type of relationship has been broken, it's difficult to trust again in that area. And oftentimes it is crafted by the enemy
Hmm.
to stifle you, because if I can stop you from getting a relationship that would speak into you or would grow you, then you're going to
Hmm.
stay right where you are. You're not going to even try to achieve. So um, I think it's amazing that you were able to find one, your place of healing, and then to regain your trust, to connect not only to one mentor but several mentors in different areas. So, you mentioned your husband has been a huge part of you launching out and stepping out in your business. And you shared before we got on that you guys are celebrating 10 years
Yep.
tomorrow. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um, and I heard you mention, you had to heal from areas with your father. So what are some challenges that you've had to overcome in learning to be a wife, and then later on adding the bonus mom, considering the voids you may have had with your upbringing?
So I've never really had a good relationship with my father. And so I dealt a lot with just being like feeling rejected from him. Like, why didn't he want me? Like, what was wrong with me? Because he has another daughter. I love my sister, but I often looked at myself and her and compared to try to figure out what was wrong with me. And then for a brief moment, my mom did get married, and Who Jesus, that was a season. That was a season for sure. He was abusive. It was a lot that, I went through for like several years with him. And, I'm so grateful for just a praying family, a praying grandfather, a praying grandmother, because it was literally the Lord that told my grandfather to get me out of that situation. And it was in that moment that my mom made the hardest decision to walk away, whether it was life or death. She
Oh,
had to walk away. And, and it's just, again, by the grace of God that we're all still here, and things like that. But I saw so much, Yes, my grandparents, they've been married for 63 years. They're still here to pour wisdom.
wow.
That's
That's
a blessing.
amazing. Yes,
That's
it
a
is.
So I'm so grateful for that. But I saw so much and I dealt with so much growing up. And my husband, he came from a two-parent household. So you merge my issues with, with kind of like the structure that he had, and it was chaos. It was definitely chaos because I kind of had this like, well, if it has to be, it's up to me kind of attitude. Like my mom was a single mama. She got things done, so I'm gonna get things done too. And he was just like, we're not coming in this marriage with that attitude. Um, but that's what I knew, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had so many just hurt and rejection issues. I had this fear that if I made my husband mad, would he be like my mother's ex-husband? Would he hit me? I was a wreck, and I was spiraling so fast. I thought I was good when I was single, but I realized I was not good when I got married. And I just remember spiraling and quickly. I was just, every little thing was like a trigger for me to just be upset and just so many different things. But I was so confused because I'm like, I have all these emotions and I don't know what to do with them. And I remember my husband started doing research because he's like, I got to get this girl together. And so we were in church and it was like a message or something about like healing the heart ministries. And I just looked at my husband. I was like, can I go? Please, like, I'll do whatever. And so I just remember he went to the ATM. He gave me the money. He said, babe, you do what you have to do. And I went to Healing of the Heart, not knowing what I was going to expect for the weekend. And they wrecked my whole world, but in a good way. It was hard to work through things, but the weight that lifted off of me was so amazing. She explained to me how um, I would treat my father, I would treat my husband, I would make him pay for what my father didn't do or what he said no to. I would make my husband pay for. I mean, it was so many different things that she was just pulling out of me. And I was just like, oh my God, like I have some seriously deep rooted issues, and I've worked through them.
Yes.
Do I still deal with some of them today? Yes, there's moments where something may trigger, but I know how to attack it, and say, no, no,
Right.
devil, we're not about to do that, And so it was a journey for
Mhm.
sure, even facing my father, facing my mother's ex-husband, to look at them from a place of grace, like that was strength,
Mhm.
but I knew that if I wanted my marriage to last and and withstand things like my grandparents have done, like I needed to get it together. I didn't want to bring my kids in any type of like hostile environment, so it was work. It was definitely
Mhm.
some work, but it was a journey that was so necessary for me to be healed, because I knew that there would be other women coming behind me, and I needed to show up for them. I needed to show up for my sister. I needed to show up, for my younger female cousins, like, or just even, people on social media. I just knew I had to show up. So I needed that broken little girl to get it together so I could help other broken little girls.
Yes, yes. And I've heard about the Healing the Heart retreat and have heard testimonies of other people that have attended it. So it seems like they are doing an amazing work through that ministry. So within and I'm not sure how many years within your marriage you became a what you call a bonus mom.
Bonus
You
mom.
and your husband are caring for your nephew. So how has that experience been while you guys are believing God for your own children?
Lord Jesus, children is something else. Well, at least my nephew is. This boy is
The Chronicles of Joe.
yeah.
Hashtag.
And it's literally like there's so many days I want to film him, but like when I legit tell people like, no, he's in his underwear, I can't film him. Like he's in his underwear. Like he doesn't he does not want to get dressed under any capacity. It's been a journey, but it's been good. My nephew, unfortunately, his father passed away when he was 3,
Mm,
and they really had a strong bond in those 3 years because my sister, she worked a lot. So, while he was kind of going through some heart challenges and stuff like that, he was with Joe every single day. So they developed a bond so quickly. But when he passed, it struck my sister really, really hard. And for her to try to grieve and be a single mom was something she was like, I did not sign up for this, and she was just really going through a place of just hurt and
mhm,
just and again just trying to be a mom. And although we have a huge family in Buffalo who was there and ready to, support her in any capacity. I just think the shock of it all just kind of made her say, I don't know if I could do this right now. And so I just remember the day she called me and was just like, I don't know if I could be a mom. And I'm like, you can be a mom, but I can help you.
mm.
And we prayed and we made the decision to go and get him. And we did, and we brought him back here. Going on, he was the end of 3 going on 4, and he's 8 now.
Oh
and
wow.
and it has been a journey. I learned don't ever get carpet again in any other house I move into because it will be black in like 2.5 seconds or red. um I learned a lot, but he's taught me how to grow up too, and he's taught me how to have a level of grace. He's taught me how to stay on my knees to the Father because he always doing something. We at the doctors for some other reason, so he's increased my prayer life. um, but it's just it's really, you know just even for him to be able to grow up and have a place of security with me
Mhm,
and my husband. Like, I love it to just see how he, just kind of how he operates. He walks in so much confidence because my husband's constantly pouring in him, pouring affirmations and everything in him. I joked on Facebook recently because my husband went out of town. Well, really, he went to Mexico. And so I stayed home because we homeschool him. And he wrote him a letter and he was just like, hey, be good for auntie. Do this, do this. You're the man of the house while I'm gone. And so he's like, big smile on his face. Why he tell him that? So literally, like, I'm downstairs and I'm making breakfast. It's Sunday morning. He comes downstairs and he goes, auntie, did you make breakfast? Because the man of the house is hungry. I said, see what we not gonna do is go through a whole week of you really thinking that you the man of the house. But it was the confidence. Yeah, but I love the confidence. My
yes.
husband poured so much confidence in him and stuff. So I mean, again, he's just really taught us how to grow up, and just how to have grace, how to just seek word or just seek other places of truth and knowledge to like pour it into him. He's always just like, are we gonna have our snuggle time? And although he's probably like here on me now, but it don't take much. I'm only 5'3". It's just he's my baby and I love it. I love it so much, and he was even necessary in 2019, and I've shared it on Facebook. I've been very transparent about it. Back in June, it was I had lost my baby. It was my third miscarriage, and this time I took it hard. I took it hard because um at this point I was 3 months, like I was just shy of 3 months, but I was showing like, do I got twins? Am I further along? Like, what is going on? And so I remember going we went to the clinic and everything, and she's doing the ultrasound, and you can see the baby, but it's just like, where's the heartbeat, and we're trying to like, and my heart is just like already on the floor, and I'm just like trying to like keep it together. And unfortunately they told us that my baby didn't survive, and my baby didn't survive because what they found were two fibroids. One was the size of, it was 9 centimeters, and my doctor said it was the size of a baby's head at full term delivery, and the other one was like just shy of 7, so it was right behind it, and they were so aggressive that it cut the blood flow to my baby.
Mm.
That
Wow.
was by far the most gut-wrenching blow, because my other 2 miscarriages, they were so early on. I mean, yeah, it was still heartbreaking, but there was, like, no attachment. I wasn't growing or anything like that, and so with this one, it was just really different for me, and I just remember, like, I just wanted to shut off the whole world. Like, it was so bad for me, and I just remember I cried and I cried and I cried. And so they had to do a DNC, like it was a Tuesday that I went in. And so I had to, by Wednesday, I needed to make a decision like, hey, we could give you a pill, to just fully abort the baby, or you could come in and do a DNC. And so I chose the DNC because I'm like, I don't want to see nothing right now.
Right.
And so
Right.
I chose the DNC, and I remember right after the DNC, 3 days later, I am in the emergency room because I am like profusely, I'm losing blood at like, I was anemic by the time I made it to the emergency room, and they
Wow.
tested my blood. They were like, something's going on. We got to see what's going on. Found out that my uterus was wide open. My fibroids were a beast. They were brutal. And so it wouldn't allow my uterus to close. And they had to put me on contraction medicine just to force my uterus to close. I remember telling my husband, I said, oh, my worst enemy, I never wish this kind of pain. Like, it was
Wow.
so bad. And I just remember I was literally like on all fours, because that was the only thing that was comfortable for me. And I'm just crying because I'm like, I have to lose my baby. Now I have to be in this pain and all of this other stuff.
Mhm.
And Joe comes and he gets on his knees next to me and he says, Auntie, just because our baby went to be with Jesus, today doesn't have to be a bad day. And he kissed me and I cried all over again because I was just like, oh my God, like here I am, thinking like, I need him and I need to show up for him. But God still placed him there for me because he was what I needed in that.
Mhm.
And he tried everything under the sun just to help me, to help Eddie, whether it was like my pain medicine, my ice, or even just sitting up with me some days when I was just like heartbroken, he was just always with me and stuff. And so he's been such a blessing just to us, and he's just been like everything we needed. He's always just like, the one day I was standing in the kitchen, he said, when do you think you're gonna be pregnant again? I'm like, I don't know, like, we just gonna trust God. And he goes, I feel like I should help God. And I said, well, why don't you do that, baby? So he literally goes and he starts praying, and he's
Wow.
like, Father God, I want to help you so my auntie can be pregnant. And I was just like, oh my God, and so it's just, he's been a blessing.
Mm.
He gives us faith. We have conversations. He's named my kids. I would never name my kids what he's named them, but like, he's done everything. He's laid everything out. He's promised me, he'll help me, but not when they first come home because he said he doesn't hold babies. So
Yeah.
whenever
He's
he
so
needs
he's
me,
ready to
I
be
know.
big brother.
He is, but it's just been a joy just to, just to even nurture him while we just, while we pray and we wait on, on the Father. I know it's gonna be beautiful. I've seen twins in my dreams. I'm like, Lord, hey, if I got to do one and done, not two out with one stone, we could do it, but it's been a journey.
Mhm.
You know, I can truly say I've walked a Hannah journey for about 3, 4, almost 4 years. But I've gained a lot of strength in it. It's taught me to press more into the Father and things like that. But it's also just given me, just the ability to pray for other women who, are struggling with getting pregnant or just have any other, female issues. It's just
Right.
like I've walked through your journey. Like, you're going to be okay. It's hard, but I promise you, like, when he says he'll give you beauty for ashes, like, he will.
Yes. Yes. So, um, I can hear how your faith has progressed through your journey from, the girl that was told you'll never succeed in college to, the wife who had to learn to become a wife, and now the bonus mom. So has faith was that something that was that that you were brought up in, or at what point in your life did faith become so paramount to you?
So faith, I've always grown up in the faith. My grandfather is a bishop. My mom is an ordained minister. There's so many just people of faith, in my family that I it. No, I was the preacher's kid who nobody liked because she had a bad attitude and a smart mouth, but and I did. There were seasons where I was mad at God, and so I walked away from him, but he always brought me back to him because it was in me. It was in the at the core of who I was. And so it has always it's really always been me just going back to the feet of our Savior, just going back to to him. And that has definitely been, it's been my anchor, and it always has. And sometimes people will say, like, gosh, sometimes you talk so much about faith, but that's what I have. Because
Yeah.
if I really tell you what I've walked through, you have no idea how my faith is truly my anchor. Because there has been days where, I've contemplated suicide. I've literally contemplated, like, I don't want life anymore. Like, I want to just be done with it, and things like that. I've contemplated so many things to take me so far off course, but it was nothing but just literally like the prayers of people before me just always leading me back. So I'm gonna talk about our Savior till he come back, and I don't care because
Absolutely.
definitely he gets me through for sure.
Absolutely. Unapologetically. I love it.
Yes.
Um, so we have a little bit less than 15 minutes left before we're
Okay.
approaching the hour mark. So I want to kind of switch back to style, since we have, of course, a lot of women watching and women that will watch the replay. Um, how how personal would you say that style is? And I ask that question because we see, people put up style boards online, or you admire someone else's outfit, but you can't necessarily go to the store and get the exact things that someone else has on. So talk to us about the personal stamp that a woman should have in her style and how important that is.
So the biggest thing I teach on when somebody reaches out to me and they want me to style them, I am not just getting you the outfit on a mannequin, because I promise you, I use too many staples and safety pins to snatch that outfit really tight. It's not gonna look the same. And I teach on body shape. Like, I am so huge on, like, your body type. What fits your body type? Yes, the outfit is cute, but you may get discouraged because it may not look the same on you. Our mannequins were like rectangles. They were just straight up and down. There was nothing to them. We had to create silhouettes and stuff like that, just to make it attractive. But I'm huge on body types. I will always look at the proportion of a woman from her shoulders to, her hips, like her waistline, her butt, like just everything. I'm personal. Like, I always ask, like, are you gonna feel violated? Because I'm gonna touch you, but that, like, that's just who I am, because I'm really personable about it, because I don't want a woman to just leave and just think that they have like a cute outfit, but I want them to leave and be confident because they feel good in what they wear. I tell people, don't look at the number size on your garments. How does it feel? Do you feel good? Can you walk out the door and feel confident, or are you tugging and trying to make sure it's not riding up and things like that? If you can confidently say that, and it just so happens to be a 14, and you thought you was losing weight, and you thought that you was borderline in like a 10, 12, like, it's okay. Like, I literally have clothes that range from like a 10 to a 14, but it feels good, and I look good in it, and that's what matters. Like, does it look good for your body type? Yes, we can hide the areas that you don't like, we can camouflage it, we could throw a blazer on, we could do something. But I'm just big on, I need you to walk from my presence and feel so confident because your clothes look good and they feel good on you.
Yes. So, when did you adopt your tagline, "Do all things with love and style," and what inspired that?
I What did inspire that? I remember one day I was reading the scripture, and I just remember I don't remember what translation it was, or really what scripture it is. Lord forgive me. But I just remember it was just, and do all things, in love. And I was just like, "And style," just being silly, and my husband's like, "I like that." And I was like, "Yeah, me too," And so I really adapted, like, do all things with love and style, because I have a big heart, Sometimes it's a flaw, but I have a big heart. I love to see women win. Like, I have no hidden agenda or anything. Like, I truly, like, if you come to me, like, okay, what we gonna do? Like, how we gonna help you win? If I have, excuse me, the idea, or if I have the resource or somebody to pour into you, then I'm going to do it, because it's not dimming my light to help yours shine. Like, i don't
Exactly.
i don't see you as competition. Like, I don't see anybody as competition, even in the style industry, in the boutique industry. I don't see anybody as competition, because I know what God called me to do. And if
Mhm.
this is my space that I'm dominating, then he's already assigned the people to me. So if I share something with you, I'm not afraid that you're going to go off and take, because what's assigned to me is assigned to me. And that's
Exactly.
and that's just, that's just how I see it. And so I done lost the question. What was you asking me? I don't know. I'm
You
on
a
a whole
you
nother
answered
tangent.
it. No, you answered it. I asked about your tagline, but look, whatever
Yes,
else you were inspired to say beyond that was good. Yeah, I was into it, so you
yeah.
you were good.
So that's where the tagline came from. Yeah, it was scripture, and then just me wanting to add my flair to fashion to it.
Okay, good, good. So, how can women connect with you if they want to shop with you, if they want to hire you for a branding session or styling? What's the best way to get in contact with Vanessa?
So, to eliminate all confusion, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My name is pronounced Vanessa, but it's spelled like Varnessa. So it's Varnessa. So Varnessa Bells. And if you just go to my website, it's just literally varnessabells.com. And you can shop my boutique, which is called Posh and Lux. You can shop there. You can shop. I have ebooks, or just how to start an online business. I have tons of different ebooks and stuff out there, and I'm reintroducing my Praise and Slay t-shirt brand. We have some really amazing designs that are about to launch and come out, so I'm super excited about that. You'll see the link up there, but it's nothing to it. So yeah, if you just follow me on social media, it's Varnessa Bells, or my website is just varnessabells.com.
Okay, good, good, good. So, as always, thank you guys for commenting. I see that there are some additional comments. Please continue to comment, because even the ones that Vanessa could not see while we were um, talking, she can go back later. And if you are watching the replay, if you catch the replay, you can still comment, because they'll be archived with the video. So I always like to ask my guests to share a last moment or piece of inspiration or encouragement from any facet um, of their journey. So, whatever you feel inspired to share at this moment, with those that are watching and those that will watch the replay, what would you want to leave with the audience tonight?
So, the Nike slogan where it says just do it, literally, just do it. Whatever whatever has been placed inside of you to do, just do it. Just give it your all. Show up unapologetically. If you mess up, it's okay. Like, people have watched me grow through the process. They've watched me fail, and I've just been transparent in it all. And I think if you just show up and just be who you are unapologetically, you'll grow your business. Whatever it is that you're set out to do, it'll happen for you, but you just have to show up. You got to get out of your way, because trust me,
Mhm.
I've always been in my way. But if you could just get out of your way and show up, I promise you, you will begin to see the manifestation of what you have been believing for. So just show up.
Yes, that is good. That is good. And I 100% agree with that. People think that is something special or extra that you have to have. A lot of times, no, you're just starting with the belief that you're gonna do whatever it is you desire to do, and things begin to align as you continue to move. So I am so very grateful again for the yes that you gave on tonight. It has been so very encouraging and inspiring. I can see the comments again coming in, saying that they've enjoyed you. So thank you so much.
Thank you
You
for
guys,
having me.
please connect with her and follow her if you don't already. As she said, all of her social media platforms are her name, Vanessa Bells. And she has an online boutique, some beautiful, beautiful clothes. So please, please, please support her. So we're going to get ready to wrap up. Um, I will add, for those of you that didn't hear in the beginning, if you are listening with us on Facebook, please, if you don't like and follow the Simply Tammy Facebook page, I ask that you do that. That way, each week when we come before you, you get a notification that we're about to go live. Also, I do have a mailing list, so I send out who's going to be my guest each week before I post it on social media, and a little bit more details and information. So if you want to be part of my mailing list so that you know beforehand who's coming up, and you don't miss the broadcast, you can send me an email at the email address that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen. And then lastly, if you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe. Even if you're not watching from YouTube, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach a goal there. So I'd love for you to subscribe to my Simply Tammy page. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week. I will share the guest information closer to that time. Vanessa, thank you again. I'm going to ask
Thank
that you hang
you.
out with me a little bit in the studio, um, as we get ready to close. And you guys, for all of the winning women that are watching, like I told Vanessa when we talked earlier this week, this is a wonderful week to be a woman in America. So I know above all, we should all feel very empowered right now. So thank you. Not only if you're never featured on a platform, know that you are a woman who wins. And I pray that you continue to be encouraged, inspired, and motivated to keep going. So we're going to say good night, and you guys continue to have a good evening.